Hi guys, I hope I'm audible. Perfect. Let's start. So yesterday we understood about what is SQL, what is database, and we saw the user interface of MySQL, right? And we created a database, correct? So hi Saiteja, I guess this is your first class, right?
Yes, madam.
Okay, actually, yesterday we started this demo. Okay, today is the second class, but yesterday I just, I explained about very basic introduction, like what is
Ma'am,
database
I
and
have
what
seen
is
the
SQL.
demo video on YouTube, ma'am.
Okay, that's great then. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. So let me continue today's class then, right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
perfect, thank you. So yesterday we created a database, right? And for creating the database, we use the syntax like create database name. Here we used SQL 8 as a database name. Now, as I said, every time whenever we are working on the database, first we need to activate the database. If you can see again, some other database is in activation. So today also, let me once again activate the database by using use command, right? Use database name. I just selected, executed that. Now this particular database is in activation, right? Like that. Okay. So now let's create our table. So create table syntax, or else syntax for creating table, I can say. So the syntax will be like create table, table name. After writing table name, you need to use parentheses. That means brackets. Within the brackets, we need to give column names. If just a second, let me open an Excel file. So yesterday, if you remember what we did, I'm just writing once again. Employees is our table name. So in this, I'll give columns like employee ID, employee name, salary, date of joining. Okay, and maybe I'll enter some data in it. Correct? Just give me a second. Okay, like this randomly I entered some data. Okay, yesterday only we understood employees is our table name, employee ID, employee name, vertically whatever we can see, salary, date of join. Okay, this is columns. And in that, this is first row of data, this is second row of data, right? Now let's try to create this particular same table, employees table only by in SQL. Okay, so we need to give the table name. Inside table name, we need to give the column name. Suppose column name 1. For each and every column name, whenever we are uh, you know defining, we need to define data type for this. Okay, so what is data type, I'll explain in a while. Next, column name 2, maybe data type, like that. How many columns we wanted to give, that many columns we need to give. This is the syntax. Okay, now as I said yesterday also, we can store data even in Excel also, right? Then why database? What is the need of databases? In the sense, obviously we have some limitations with the Excel file. Okay, first limitation is that we can store up to 1 million rows only. Okay, so if we want to store more than that, we can't use SQL, I mean sorry, we can't use Excel file. Okay, that is one of the drawback of Excel. Like that, we are having 6 to 7 limitations. Going forward, one by one we will learn, but for now let's understand one more important drawback of Excel file is that, suppose I entered data like this. Okay, this is the salary column. In this, definitely I need to give some salary. For example, instead of giving salary, I just tried to give some any another thing randomly, or else I just typed in as hello, right? Whatever I'm giving, Excel is accepting. It is not telling me that this is salary column. You need to enter numbers only. You need to enter the salary only. You are entering some character data, right? Like this, Excel is not saying me, Excel is not stopping me. Whatever I will enter, knowingly or unknowingly, if I enter something wrong, if I enter any irrelevant data, Excel is accepting, right? That is a major drawback of Excel, correct? So anyways, we in today's world, in real time, we are dealing with lots and lots of data. So whenever we are dealing with such big data, if we definitely we need to maintain a very good system where if we are entering some wrong data or irrelevant data, it should at least alert us, right? We should, our system should be such robust that if you are entering any wrong data, it should not accept. First of all, it should alert us, or it should it should not accept first of all. So that is one of the limitations of Excel file. And to get rid of this problem only, to get rid of this limitation only, we will use data types in SQL. Okay, data type is something, okay, according to whatever data type we define, that data type only will decide what kind of value we can enter in any particular column. Okay, so let me write. First I'll explain about data types, then we will get back to creating table. Okay, so data type is nothing but this data types only will decide what kind of value we can enter in any column. Okay, so accordingly, whatever data types we define here for that particular column name, that kind of data only we need to enter. If you are entering any other data, it will definitely won't accept it. It will throw us error. Okay. So in SQL, basically we have so many types of database. Mainly we use numerical data types. Okay. Again, inside numerical data types, we have two types. One is int and the second one is float. And the second one is character data type, or else we'll also call it as string data type. Okay, both are same. So in this, again, it is divided into two types, char and varchar. Okay, and next, date time data type. Again, it is divided into two types, that is date and date time data type. Okay, these three data types we use very frequently in SQL. Okay, along with this, of course, we have one more data type, that is something like Boolean data type, in which the values will be true, false. Okay, let me show you a small picture here. Just give me a second. So mainly SQL data types are of numerical data types, character or string data types, date and time data type. Okay. So again, numerical data type is divided into two types. One is int and another one is float. So what is int? In the sense, actually it will allow us to enter integer values. Integer values in the sense, actually normal numbers we can enter here. Okay. Suppose if we want to enter any decimal values, then we need to use float. Okay. So int allows to enter numbers normally like this, and if we want to use decimal values, then we need to define data type as float. Okay, but actually float will accept normal numbers as well as decimals. I mean, it's not like if we are defining float, definitely we need to enter decimals only. It's not like that. It's not like that. If we are entering normal numbers also, float will accept. Okay, numbers also it will accept, decimal values also it will accept. Okay, so that is about numerical data types. Character and string data type, I mean character or string data type, we have again two types here. One is char and one is varchar. So what is char, what is varchar, I'll explain you in a while by taking one example. Okay, let's see now about date and time data type. So again, we are having two data types here. So if we want to store dates, we will use date data type. Along with the dates, if we want to store date and time, then we will use date time data type. Okay, So first of all, as I said, float accepts decimal values as well, right? So in this, whenever we are defining character data, okay, whether it can be char and varchar, along with the character data, actually we need to define size also. Okay, we need to define size also. So what is this sign? What is char? What is varchar? How we are going to define this? I'll explain you in a while by taking one example. Okay. So now date data type. So obviously, whenever we wanted to store any dates, we will use date data type. Okay, and the format is every time we need to use this format only. First year, then month, then date. Okay, definitely this format, this complete 4 years like y to 2023, 2025, like that completely we need to mention here. This format only we need to use definitely. If we are using any, if we are inserting or if we are using any other format, it won't accept. Okay, this is a format for date. And next we have date time data type. Along with the date, if we want to store time, then we will use date time data type. Okay, and the format for that is year, month, date, hour, minute, second, like this. Okay, this is the format. Along with the date, we can even store time. If we want to store time along with the date, then we need to use date time data type. Okay, so that is about some important information here about the data types. I hope I'm clear. Guys, before going forward, please let me know, am I explaining a little bit fast or how is my pace yet? Can you able to understand? Do you want me to explain a little bit slowly, or is this good?
Yeah, this is good. This is
Yeah,
fine.
okay, perfect, thank you. All right, so this is about the data types. Okay, so now we understood about numerical data types, we understood about date data types. Okay, character data types I'll explain, but before that, let's try to create the same employees table. Okay, now let's get back to create table syntax and let's create whatever employees table we wrote here, that table only we will create. Okay, so the table name will become our employees. I'll just use parentheses. We will call it as parentheses or else brackets. Within that, we need to give the column names. My first column name is employee ID. Okay, obviously, we will store numbers in this. So I'll give int as the data type. Okay, next employee name. I wanted to store, we need to store names in it. So that is a character data. So we can store char or varchar. For now, I'm using char. But I said whenever we are using character data, we need to define size also, right? So how we are going to define in the sense we need to write, suppose if you are writing char, after that again we need to give some brackets and within the brackets we need to define size. Suppose I'm giving size as 10 here. Okay, like this we need to give char and after that we need to define size. So what is this means in the sense, suppose for employee name column, I'm defining character data type as char and I'm defining the size as 10 in the sense if I define the size as 10 here, I need to enter employee names up to 10 characters only. Okay, up to 10 letter word only I can enter for in this particular employee name. If I am entering any word which is of 11 letter word or more than 10 characters, it won't accept. Okay, why? The concept here is we are defining size here. That means we are actually allocating 10 bytes of memory for this particular employee name column. Okay, we are allocating memory here. For this particular employee name column, we are allocating 10 bytes of memory for this particular column. Okay, 10 bytes of memory in the sense in each byte I can enter one single character. Okay, each byte one character. Or one letter, let's imagine, let's one character or one letter. So that means if I am defining 10 as size in the sense I can store up to 10 letter word. It can be 2 letters, 3 letters, 4 letters, anything is fine, but up to 10 letters, up to 10 characters only I can enter, right? If I am entering more than that, it will throw me error, like that. Okay, So this is about employee name. Next, maybe salary column. So maybe sometimes we will have decimal numbers also like 1.2 lakh like that. So let me use float for this, right? And next, what is that? Date of joining. So obviously for date of joining, I'll use a date data type, right? Like this. After create table name within the brackets, column name, data types of each and every column. Okay, like this we need to create. Now let me select this. I'll execute. This is the execute button. It got executed successfully. Now let me here. This is the database which we are using, right? SQL 8. Let me refresh once, right? Tables. Now I can able to expand. You can see I got employees table. Now if I'm selecting on this in the information section, I can able to see the table name, that is employees, and column names employee ID, employee name, salary, date of joining. Along with that, what are all the data types we mentioned, that one also we can see in the information section like this. Okay, just for an idea, we can just select and we can see the information about it. Okay, so this is how we will create the tables. I hope I'm clear till here.
Yes. In which case we'll be using varchar.
Yeah, I'll explain that actually. So next, let's see what is char and what is varchar. Suppose for same employee name column, I'm defining char. Okay, char as a data type, and I gave 10 as size. Okay, whenever we are defining like this, what will happen in the backend? Suppose I took one box, I'm dividing this into 10 divisions. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, as I define size as 10 here, I just took one box and I divided it into 10 divisions. Okay, now suppose as if I define char as a data type, what will happen? Obviously, as I define the size as 10, that means here we are allocating 10 bytes of memory for this particular employee name column, right? So that is the reason I divided it into 10 divisions. Now, for example, suppose here if I am entering something like just a second. Maybe if I'm entering Ram as a word, okay. So R will take in 1 byte of memory, A will take 1 byte of memory, M will take 1 byte of memory, correct? Suppose if I'm entering name as Ram, this is a 3-letter word, it will take 3 bytes of memory, correct? So remaining, we are left over with 7 bytes of memory here, right? Because we defined size as 10, and in that I used only 3 letters word. Okay, so remaining 7 bytes of memory is left over for me. Okay, so if I am using char here, what will happen? If I'm using char here, what will happen? Whatever leftover bytes of memory is there, for each and every byte, SQL will automatically take a blank space like this. Okay, like this, whatever leftover bytes of memories are there, and each and every byte of memory, it will give one blank space, and it will actually use this complete 10 bytes of memory for the same employee name column. Okay, if it is char. Now let's see what will happen in, suppose instead of char I took varchar. Okay, I took varchar and I defined the size as 10. Now what will happen? I'm not dividing the box. In this box only I'll try to explain. So suppose now I defined, suppose now I took varchar as a data type. Okay, now of course here also we define the size as 10. So what will happen? Again 10 divisions we will take. Okay, suppose now imagine I'm taking the word like John. So J in one box, O in one box, H in one box, N in one box. That is 4 bytes of memory is used. Now remaining we have 6 bytes of memory, right? So whatever 6 bytes of memory is there here, it won't be used. Okay, this bytes of memory will be given back to the database here. Okay, in the case of varchar, suppose if I define varchar and I define size as 10, how many characters I am entering? Suppose if I am entering 3-letter word, 7 bytes of memory will be, whatever remaining will be there, that will be given back to the database, like that. The memory or the bytes of memory which we are not using, that won't be that won't be used for the same column name. It will be again given back to the database itself. Okay, that is the difference between char and varchar. So in char, irrespective of whatever data we are entering, suppose imagine if I define size as 20 and I enter only 5-letter word, so remaining 15 bytes of memory I'm not using, but still what database will do, this 15 bytes of memory also, it will just fill with the blank spaces, and complete 20 bytes of memory will be used for the employee name column only. Whereas in varchar, whatever unused bytes of memory is there, that memory will be allocated back or given back to the database. So with this example, what we can conclude, in char, whenever we are defining char, memory will be wasted. Correct? Memory wastage will happen in char, whereas in varchar memory wastage won't happen. Okay, due to this reason, always in real time we will prefer to use varchar only. Okay, because here whenever we are using varchar, how much memory we defined also, if I define 50 as a memory also, if I use only 5 bytes of memory, remaining whatever it is 45 bytes of memory will be again allocated back to the database. Here my memory won't be wasted. Correct? This is the main difference between char and varchar. Okay, and the one more point here is, in char we can store up to in char we can store up to 255 by 255 characters only. Let me write here. Suppose in char we can store up to 255 characters of data only, whereas in varchar we can store up to 24,534 characters. Okay, if we wanted to store more than 255 characters, we can't use char. Definitely we need to use varchar. This is the maximum limit. Okay, but the main difference is that about the memory. In char memory is being wasted, whereas in varchar memory wastage won't be happen. Okay, because of this reason we will definitely prefer to use varchar in real time, because we don't know exactly what how much data we will enter in each and every column. That is the reason we will prefer to use varchar, and we will define how much, suppose if we define 50, 100 also, no problem. Whatever needed, that much memory only will be taken, remaining memory will be given back to the database, right? That is the reason. So in which scenarios we will use char? In the sense, suppose if we know exactly what kind of data we are going to enter. For example, imagine we have gender column. Okay, we have gender column. Suppose in gender column we know what kind of data we will enter, maybe male, female, like, right? For that how much data is needed, that like that we know, right? Exactly, if we know what kind of data or how much bytes of memory, how much data we are entering in any column, in that columns we can use char. That is okay. Okay, but generally we will prefer to use varchar only. Okay, I hope I'm clear.
Yes, you are. Yeah.
Perfect. So yeah, this is how we will create the table. We already created. Now after creating the table, you can see here only table structure is created. Table structure, in the sense, in table whenever we are creating, we will call this as a structure. That is, we created table name, we created column name, and we define the data types. Now we need to enter the data or insert the data. So to insert the data, here we will use insert command. Insert is one more command used to insert data into tables. Okay, now let's see insert syntax. So insert into table name. So I'm directly writing example. So this is the table name. After writing table name, we need to give insert into table name. Values, we need to use a keyword called as values, and then we need to start writing within the brackets. We need to start giving the values. Okay, insert into table name values, and after that we need to use brackets, and within the brackets I need to enter the data. Okay, and every time we need to enter data in a sequence only, that is in however which sequence we define column names, in that sequence only we need to enter the data. That is first employee id, then employee name, salary, like that. Okay, so first I'll use 1. So my employee ID is 1, my employee name is maybe Ram, salary is 60,000, date of joining is, okay, if you observe here, for character data and for date data, I'm using quotes. Okay, normally numbers we can give as it is. Normally we can give numbers, but whenever we are giving character data or dates, we need to definitely use quotes. Either we can use single quotes or else we can use double quotes. No problem. Okay, both are okay. Both will work. Anything is fine. Whatever, I mean, anything, if whatever we use, that is okay. So but for character data and for dates, definitely we need to use quotes. Okay, and we need to definitely maintain this particular format only for dates. First year, then month, then date, however I said previously, that format only we need to use, right? Where is that? Maybe in the bottom. See, this format only we need to use definitely whenever we are giving dates. Okay, so this is one column, and I'll just keep a comma. Now I'll enter second row. If you observe here, after giving values, I just used brackets, and within the brackets, what I did, I enter the data. So after writing some data, if I'm giving comma here, that is inside the brackets, comma is used to separate the column data. Whenever sequence is comma, it will understand this will be first column data, this is second column, third column, like that. Once we are done with all the columns, we need to close the bracket, and then we need to give one more comma. The here comma indicates this is first row data, this is second row data, like that. Within the brackets, comma in the sense it is used to separate column data, and after brackets, comma in the sense this is first row and this is second row, like that. Okay, so let me give one more row here quickly. Okay, 3 rows are enough. I gave 3 rows of data. Now let me just execute. Okay, I need to select and I'll execute here by clicking on this button. So it got executed, right? So we created the table, we inserted the data. Okay, now let me display the data. Okay, to display the data, we will use select command. Okay, select is one command which is used to display the data. Okay, so the syntax will be select star from table name. Okay, here star in the sense, actually we will we will call it as asterisk. Okay, we will call this as asterisk, or we can even call it as star. That is used to whenever we wanted to display complete data. Okay, display complete data from the table. Whenever we wanted to display complete data from the table, we will use star. Okay, suppose if I say select star from table name, that is employees. Okay, now if I say star here, that means I wanted to display complete data from the employees table. Okay, let's see, I'm selecting, I'm executing. Now I got my output, same in the table format only. Okay, employee ID, employee name, salary, date of joining, and whatever 3 rows of data I entered, that data only it is showing me, right? Suppose instead of displaying complete data, I wanted to display any particular data. At that time, I'll just write that particular column names. Suppose if I write select employee name, comma salary from employees. then it will display that particular data only, like this. Whatever columns we want to display, that column names we will write, like this: employee name and salary. If you are using star, complete data it will display. If you are using any particular column names, that particular data only it will display. Okay. So this is how we will create the table. We will insert the data and we will display the data. And we understood about data types also, right? Any
Yes.
questions? Yes, please.
Yes. So in the insert, right? So in the end of the query, you don't need to put the semicolon,
Yeah,
even
no
if you don't put.
semicolon. Yeah, no semicolon. Actually, the first point here, maybe yesterday I forgot to mention. Here in MySQL, semicolon is optional.
Okay. So
Okay.
this
So,
will work
mhm.
the same way for DB and also, right? For
Yeah, actually, accordingly, in some databases, we need to use semicolon at the end. In some databases, semicolon is not needed. Here, it is optional. If you use semicolon also, it will accept. If you don't use semicolon also, it will accept. Okay.
okay,
So
okay.
semicolon is
Yeah.
something previously in Oracle database, we used to use it. Then only SQL would understand that that is the end of the statement. Here, actually, we will have one concept called as delimiter. Okay.
Okay.
We will say this as delimiter. Delimiter is nothing but any symbol by using which SQL or database should understand that that is the end of any particular statement. Okay. So by default, semicolon is a delimiter. Okay, by default semicolon is a delimiter for complete databases. Okay, all the databases previously in Oracle, SQL and SQL Server, all the databases, actually this is by default we have semicolon as a database, I mean as a delimiter. If we use semicolon only, then only SQL used to understand that is the end of the statement. Okay, but nowadays it is not that compulsory, it became optional. If we use also, it will work fine. If we don't use also, it will work fine. But again, when we will use this, in a sense, whenever we wanted to execute uh, you know two SQL statements at a time. For example, here we have only one table. Just give me a second. Suppose, just to show you this, I'm taking this particular database, use SQL 7. I'm activating this database. So in this, we are having something like customer table and category table. So imagine at a time I wanted to see customer and category table. So obviously to display the data, I'll use select command, select star from customer, right? And select star from category. Okay. So whenever we wanted to execute two statements or multiple statements at a time, at that time, if we are executing like this, it will throw me error. Okay, it will throw me error stating, syntax error basically. So whenever we wanted to execute multiple statements at a time, in that scenario we need to use semicolon. Then only SQL will understand this is one particular statement and this is one particular statement. If we miss semicolon here, it will consider this two lines as one single query, and that is the reason it will throw us error. Okay, so if I wanted to execute multiple SQL queries at a time, then at the end we need to give semicolon. Now, if I execute this both statements, it will display me data by, I can see like this. I can just toggle here. This is customer output and this is category output, like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So, or else whenever we are executing only single query, semicolon is optional. If you don't use also, that is okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So now let me again activate our database, that is SQL 8. So I guess whatever we understood, right, like we what we learned till now, we created a database, we activated database, we created table, we inserted data, we displayed the data, and we understood about different data types available. We understood about the difference between an char and varchar, and again difference between char and varchar is one of the important interview questions. Okay. The main difference is that about the memory wastage you need to explain. In char, memory will be wasted. In varchar, memory won't be wasted. And for this reason, we will say that char is of fixed length. Okay, this is one more point. Maybe I'll write here only. Char, we will call it as fixed length. And varchar, we will call it as variable length. Because fixed length in the sense it's nothing but how, whatever size we are defining, that is fixed, right? What, suppose if I defined size as 10 here, the complete 10 bytes of memory is being used for employee name. So this memory is fixed. Whatever we are defining, that memory is fixed. That complete fixed, that particular memory is completely being used by that particular column name. So that is the reason we will call it as fixed length. Whereas varchar is variable length. Length is nothing but how much size we defined also according to the variables. That is, according to how many characters we are entering, that much size only it will use, right? That is the reason we will call it as variable length. Okay, basically this is the difference which we need to explain whenever they will ask about the difference between char and varchar. Most important interview question. Okay, so I guess up to here it is clear, correct, for everyone? Perfect. So this is the very basics of SQL. Okay, so now let me open a new file actually, and let me start a new concept, that is sublanguages. Okay. Yes, we didn't miss anything. We covered everything. Yeah. Okay. So the next concept is sublanguages. In SQL, actually, we have something called as sublanguages. Okay. So we have,
Sorry, sorry
yes,
to interrupt.
please. Mhm.
So, we didn't talk about Boolean,
Boolean
false,
is,
true and false.
it's just, actually, the reason is just to know you for knowledge purpose I wrote, but mostly we will use only this one. Okay, numerical float, numerical data type, character data type, and date data type only we will use. But still, boolean is nothing but if I am, suppose in any one particular column I'm expecting only true and false values, then at that time in for that column I'll define the data as boolean data type. Okay, suppose any status is there, this is a column name, imagine. So I wanted to display data whether in the format only true and false, so at that time I'll define data type as boolean. Okay, so if I am defining boolean data type for any particular column, in that time whenever we are inserting data, we are supposed to enter only true or false as values. If you are entering any other data, it won't accept, like that. Or else even we can enter 1 and 0 also. Okay, 1 is for true, 0 is for false,
Okay, yeah.
like that. Okay, so let's start a new concept, that is sublanguages. So we have some types of sublanguages here. Let me show you that picture as well. Okay, so actually these are all commands. All the SQL commands are divided into 5 types of sublanguages. Okay, so that is DDL, DML, DCL, TCL, and DQL. Again, in each and every sublanguage we have different types of commands. Okay, now let's try to understand about them. So as I said, DDL, that is nothing but data definition language. Okay, and the commands comes under DDL are create, alter, drop, truncate, and rename. Okay, we have 5 commands in it. Next, DML, that is nothing but data manipulation language, and the commands comes under DML are insert, update, and delete. DCL, that is data control language, and we have only 2 commands in it, that is grant and revoke. Okay, next we have TCL, that is transaction control language, and we have commands like commit, rollback, and save point. We have 3 commands in it. Okay, so commit, rollback, and save point in TCL. Next we have DQL, or else we will also call it as DRL. Okay, both are same. That is nothing but data query language. Mostly we will call it as DQL only, or else data retrieval language. So we have only one command in it, that is select command. Okay, now let's see one by one. So first one, DDL, data definition language. Okay, so data definition language, DDL, actually it works on every time DDL, it deals with the structure of the table. Okay, DDL deals with the structure of the table. That is, suppose whenever we are creating table, that means we are creating the structure of the table, right? Altering the table in the sense, if we want to change, we will change the structure of the table again. Dropping in the sense, removing the table. Once, let's try to understand each and every command, then I'll explain about this. Normally, all the commands whatever we have under DDL, all these commands works on structure of the table only. Okay, so the first command is create. Just now we understood about how we are going to create the table, so I'm not repeating this concept again. But as I said yesterday, create command is used to create any database object. Okay, not only tables, database object, in the sense it can be tables, it can be views, it can be stored procedures, functions, like that. Okay, to create all of this we will use create command only. Okay, we already understood about creating table syntax, so I'm not repeating. About views and store procedures, whenever we are understanding, whenever we are talking about that particular concepts, we will see how we are going to create them. Okay, so I'm just leaving this particular command because we already understood how we are going to create the table, right? Next, let's understand about alter command. Actually, before explaining about alter command, let me explain about drop command. Okay, so drop command. Basically, drop command is used to remove any table from the database permanently. So if we want to remove any table permanently from the database, we will use drop command. Okay, if we want to remove anything permanently, okay, it can be table, it can be procedures, it can be views, even it can be databases itself. Suppose I created the database. Now if I don't want this database, to remove the database also we will use drop command only. To remove the tables also we will use drop command, like that. Basically, whenever we wanted to remove something permanently, we will use drop command. Okay, and the syntax will be drop table table name. Okay, so actually we created only one table, right? So let me create one more table here very quickly by using the same syntax so that I can show you drop command. Okay, so as I said, every time the table names should be unique, so I'm just changing the table name as employees1. I'm creating the same table. Okay, let me insert and let me display the data first, and I'm using insert command. Again, I'm changing the table names to employees1. Okay, so I inserted the data. Now let's try to, let me show you first this table data. Select star from employees1. Okay, so this is our data. Now even you can observe here, I'm refreshing. We got employees table, employees1 table, same table I created so that I can show you drop command. Okay, so now I said the syntax of drop is drop table table name, right? So I can write drop table employees1. Okay, so whenever we are executing this particular statement, this complete table will be removed permanently from the database. Okay, you can see employees1 is, I lost this table because I removed it, right? Now if I'm executing select star from employees1, it will throw me error stating table employees1 doesn't exist, right? Like that. And let me actually show you one more error here. So we understood about char, correct? So we said whenever we are defining the data, I mean defining the size here, that here actually we defined size as 10 for employee name, right? So let me actually insert any name which is greater than this particular size, and let's see what kind of error it is throwing us. Okay, so I'll write it as insert into employees values, and I'll give maybe 4. So I need to enter here employee name should be greater than 10, right? So randomly I'll enter like this. I'm entering something which is greater than 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, like this I give randomly, and let's see what is the error it is going to throw. Next salary, I'm giving something, and maybe date of joining, I'm giving something. Okay, right? Now let me insert this particular value and let's observe. It throws me error stating data too long for column employee name at row 1, right? Error is very simple. If we want, we can just copy this error and we can paste it here. Sorry. Okay, so this is the error message, data too long for column employee name at row 1. So easily, whatever errors we will get by seeing the error message, we will understand exactly what is the problem. So that clearly it will display the error names. Okay. So error messages. So data is too long in the sense here we will understand. Okay, whatever name here actually it is mentioning column name also. In employee name column, data is too long in the sense we will understand that in employee name column, they define the size less than this particular data, whatever we enter, right? Like that. Okay, so this is about drop command. Next, let's understand about alter command. Okay, so we have 5 commands. Create command we already know, drop command we understood just now. Let's understand about alter command, important command. Okay, so in alter actually we have 5 use cases. Let me explain one by one. Okay, so first use case is that alter is used to add new column in the existing table. Suppose I already created the table. For example, we already created employees table. While creating employees table, we gave 4 columns, right? Employee name, employee ID, salary, date of joining. Okay. So all after creating the table, now if I realize that I wanted to add one more new column in it. Okay. Whenever we wanted to add a new column in the already created table, then obviously we can't use create command, right? Because the table is already created. So at that time we need to use alter command. Okay. So let me write the syntax: alter table, table name, add. Here whenever we are trying to as I said, in alter, first of all we have 5 use cases. Okay, so in this 5 use cases, first use case is that for the already creating table, okay, for the already existing table, if we want to, you know if we want to add a new column, then we will use the alter command. So while in this particular use case, whenever we are trying to add a new column, we need to write syntax like alter table, table name. After that, we need to use a keyword called as add. Okay. So after that, we will say like add column name, data type. Okay, so here we are whatever new column name we are entering, that column name we need to give. Whenever we are defining a column name, definitely we will define data type, right? So we will give the data type also. So let's create, suppose let's add a new column here: alter table employees. Okay, now see, let me refresh once. If I'm selecting employees data, it is showing me 4 columns: employee ID, employee name, salary, date of joining. Right now, let me add another column name, maybe something like bonus column. For that, maybe I'll give it as float as a data type. Okay, like this. I wanted to add a new column, that is bonus, and I'm giving some data type for that particular column. Now let me select, let's execute. Okay, let me refresh. And you can see now bonus column is also added for the employees table, right? Like that. Whenever we wanted to add a new column for the existing table, we will use alter command. Okay, I hope it is clear. Now second use case is that alter is used to remove any existing column, any column, I can say any column from the existing table. Okay, suppose we created the table, while creating we defined some columns. Suppose if we wanted to remove any column from the already created table, now in this table I'm having 5 columns. If I don't want any particular column, if I want to remove the column, again I need to use alter command only, and the syntax will be like alter table, table name. Okay, previously we used add keyword, right? Now we need to use drop keyword. Okay, because we wanted to remove the column name. Okay, so I will say drop column, column name. Okay, we need to mention, we wanted to drop column, and what is the column name, that one we need to give. Suppose alter table, table name is employees. I'll say drop column, column, just normal column keyword we will write, and after that what is the column name, suppose bonus column. Whatever we entered just now, whatever we created just now, that one only I'm just removing. Okay, now observe, I'm just selecting this, executing. Now I'm refreshing. Now you can see bonus is removed. Right now again I'm back with my 4 columns only, like that. So in alter, if we want to add a new column also, we will use alter command only. Inside alter we need to use add keyword. Okay, if we want to remove any column also, we need to use alter only. Inside alter we need to use drop. Okay, like that. And third use case is that it is used to change data type of any column in the existing table. Okay, so we know that while creating the table, we will give the column names and the data types, right? Suppose now if we wanted to, at any particular time, if we wanted to change the data type, for example, in the previous table, whenever we are creating employees table, we gave data type as char, right, for employee name. Now only we understood the difference between char and varchar, and we understood that while using char, memory will be wasted, right? Now, as I understood my memory is being wasted because of this char, I wanted to, or I decided to change this data type from from char to varchar, like that. Anything, okay, any data type if we wanted to change, already created table, already existing data types if we wanted to change, again we will use alter command only. Okay, and the syntax will be like alter alter table name. Now here I need to use a keyword called as modify. Okay, obviously modify meaning changing, right? So we need to use, for adding a new column we will use add keyword, for removing a column we will use drop keyword, and for changing the data type we will use modify keyword here. Okay, so I'll say it as modify column. Okay, I'm saying I want to modify the column, and what we wanted to modify, maybe if I wanted to change what column here, employee name column we decided, right? Or else as I'm giving syntax, let me write it as column name. Okay, and new data type, this is our data type. Okay, this is our syntax. So let me say alter table employees. In that employees I'll say modify column. Column name is employee name, and I wanted to give varchar of 10. Okay, observe here we are having char of 10, right? Now I'm just selecting this, I'm executing. Okay, it got executed successfully. Now let me refresh. Now we can see we got varchar, right? Like that. Whenever we wanted to change the data types, not only data types, if I want to change the size also. For example, now I have varchar 10. Suppose if I say for the same column name, I want to change the size. Here we are having varchar 10. If I say varchar 30, not only data types, for character data, if we want to change size also, we will use the same alter command. Okay, now we can observe I got 30, right? Like that. Okay, I hope it is clear. Three use cases, right? First one is adding a new column, second one removing removing existing column, and third one is changing the data type. Let me explain fourth one as well quickly. So fourth use case of alter command is whenever we wanted to, suppose if we wanted to rename the column name, use it to rename column name. Okay, while creating the table we will give some column names. Later if we want to change the column names, rename the column names, then we will use alter command only, and the syntax will be like alter table name. Okay, so here we will use keyword called as rename. Okay, rename, I'll say I'm going to rename the column, and I'll say old column name to new column name. Okay, like that. So alter table name is employees, or maybe rename column, I'll rename DOJ to maybe date of joining. Okay, like this, old name to new name. So let me select, let me execute, it got executed. Now let me refresh, we got date of joining, right? Like that. So these are the four use cases of you know, alter command. And the fifth use case is that it is used to add primary key for the existing table. Okay, this is our fifth use case, but till now we didn't understood about what is primary key. So at this point of time I'm not explaining this particular use case. Okay, so going forward we will have integrity constraints concept. In that we will learn about primary key. After explaining about primary key, I'll explain this particular point at that point of time. Okay, for now out of 5 use cases which we have in alter command, we understood about 4 use cases: adding a new column, removing existing column, changing the data type, and changing the column name. Okay, I hope I'm clear whatever I explained today. If you have any doubts, any questions, you can ask me.
Yes, you're clear. And a small request. Can you please
Yes,
share
please.
these notes here so that we can practice?
I understand, but actually, once we are done with demo classes, whenever you get registered, then only they will share that particular folder for you.
Okay.
Okay, so that is the rules of the institution, so I need to follow that. Okay, I hope
Sure.
I
Okay.
would. Yeah. So immediately once you got registered, you will get a folder access in that is in Google Drive. In your just make sure whenever you are registering, please give your mail ID. Okay, your actually whatever you are using that mail ID, only for that mail ID only they will give you Google Drive folder access. Okay, in that I'll upload all the notes you can access.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Any other question, guys?
Madam, hello.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Saiteja.
Madam, can we expect any course completion certificate after completing the course?
Uh, I think no, but if you want further clarification, please consult our admin team.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, but I guess they won't provide any course completion certificates.
Okay.
Okay, you will just get our videos. Okay, from the date you get registered, from that date till 6 months, you will get the video access of our daily classes, and I'll upload the notes for you. Whatever I'm explaining, this complete SQL files only I'll upload as a notes. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. And I believe I'm explaining my class in such a way that even no need of course completion certificates for you. You can just include you have hands-on experience in whatever real-time project we are going to deal with. So here we are learning about OTT platforms or movies database. So you can just mention that particular database name. Give you that particular database, and the original name, database name also you can mention in your resume that you have an hands-on experience in working of that particular database. Okay,
Okay.
that would be more than enough than this certificate.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. All right, guys, so that's it. So yesterday only I said you the details, right? We know the yesterday we saw about the course content, right? And our admin team already in the chat box they mentioned already about the payment details as well. Okay, and of course you will get a mail also in that. Again, once again, course content link will be also provided, and if you are interested, just get registered with us. Okay, and let's meet in tomorrow's class. Tomorrow is our last demo. Okay, usually I'll take 3 demos, so this is second class and tomorrow will be our last demo. Okay, all right, let's meet in tomorrow's class then. Bye.